Morning, welcome back to the allotment. It's Saturday morning, quite overcast, a little bit chilly. I understand it's going to get a little bit colder next week, so it's going to be a case of ensuring that I've got all my propagator lids on. We've got everything fleeced over that needs to be. But today I'm going to sow my brassicas, or some of the brassicas at least anyway. The first thing I'm going for is from King Seeds, and it's a red cabbage, clubroot resistant, and it's a red Ladero. So that's going to get sown. Savoy cabbage, I love Savoy cabbage. Really nice, strong taste. So we'll be sowing those today. Also sprouts. I won't be going too mad with the sprouts because last year I did about 8, and really took up a lot of room and it really had to keep on top, so I'm going to really limit that. Probably going to have 3 sprout sticks, so I think that's fine for me, probably for just for over winter and Christmas. And these ones again from King Seeds fill a basket. And I'm also today going to sow my parsnips, which are javelin, and I'll show you how I do this. I know there's a number of ways that people sow the parsnips, so I'll let you know how I do it shortly. So these trays have already been pre-soaked, so basically all I simply do is just create a little groove. I don't do too many brassicas. Create a little groove like that, and then hold of the seeds. Brassica seeds are not too bad, they're a decent size. So the hardest bit is getting into them. So got those now. Oops, a bit too many there. And I just simply drop them in like that. Now, I will have too many here, but there's always somebody forgets to put something in, so we can just simply give them away. And then simply just shake a little bit of this sieved compost over the top, not too deep. And then I just get the bottom and just make sure it's in contact, the seeds are in contact fully with the compost. Now on to the red Delero. Again, just simply drop those in. So we do red cabbage because my missus makes a wicked coleslaw in the summer, so hopefully these will go well and we get a good crop. What I'm going to do with these is these are going to stay in the propagator. But once they have germinated, I'm going to put them straight into the cold frame because these will germinate in the cold weather. What I don't want to do is keep them in the greenhouse and have them going leggy. So as soon as they germinate, they'll go into the cold frame, and when I come down in the morning, I'll simply open the cold frame and let some fresh air in there and keep them at an ambient temperature. And then what they do is they don't stretch, and they're already pretty much hardened off for when they're ready to go out. Now for the sprouts. As I say, I'm not doing too many of these. I mean, obviously I'll be putting quite a few seeds in, but I won't be growing too many, so I can pass these on to plot neighbours, do some swapping, that sort of thing. This year I'm going to make sure that the soil, when they do get planted out, is really, really nice and firm. And I'm also going to put a stake in right at the beginning, just to tie the sprout stick back to, because it's that root rock that can create your sprouts to burst open. So try and keep them as still as I possibly can by tying them to a cane, and we'll see how we go. So them, not forgetting the labels, because I've done that before, and as you'll know, the brassicas are all look the same. So if you don't do that, you can get yourself into a bit of bother. Right, we'll move on to the parsnips. Right, so what I do with my parsnips, my father-in-law told me this, and I've done it for a number of years now, and it's worked quite well. It's a bit finicky and you've got to mess about a little bit, but basically what I do is I put these on top of this wet compost, try and leave a little gap. So normally I'll have about 16 in one of my raised beds. So I always put a few more in. I mean, I'm doing this, I'm a little bit over the top with it, laying them out in rows. You don't need to, you can just throw them on, as long as you've got a little bit of space between them. Because what I do then is I simply put these in a plastic bag, black plastic bag, to keep the light out, keeps the moisture in, and I stick them underneath the potting bench in the greenhouse, cold greenhouse, not heated, and I leave them there probably about a couple of weeks, but I check them all the time. And basically I don't cover them, just leave them on the top like this. I make sure they're in good contact with the compost, and what I do is I come back to them, so just make sure they're all well and truly touching the compost. Oops, a bit finicky. And I simply put those in any old compost bag, put them inside the compost bag, make sure it's fully sealed up, and I simply put that underneath the potting bench in here in the greenhouse, and just keep coming back and checking. So after a couple of weeks, they'll probably germinate, 2 to 3 weeks. Basically, you'll take them out and you'll see the actual seedling actually bursting out. When they get to a decent size, what I then do is I take each individual one out with a teaspoon. I prepare my planting bed, which is down the way, a raised bed, and basically I take them out and I simply transplant them into the location that they're going to be grown in. You know, with the adequate spacing, and then I've got a plastic cover that goes over the top and stays over the top of them right the way through until the frosts have gone, by which time they're probably about this high, and as I come down on the morning I simply take that off, until eventually I can take it off permanently. I've done it this way, and every single year I get bumper parsnips. You know, plant them direct, you know, it's always hit and miss. You know, you might put a row of 5 in and only get 2. You know, the next row you might get 3. So this way, what you're doing is you're transplanting seeds that have definitely germinated. So I'm back in the shed, having a coffee. thought I'd mention as well, I came down to the plot yesterday morning, and as I arrived and I came to the entrance, I noticed that my shed door were open, and I thought, here we go again. Came into the shed, it had been ransacked. I've been here 5 years now, and I think that's probably the third time where we get little scroats from the local area that come down. I don't know what they're expecting to find, because there's nobody down here that keeps anything of any value in the sheds. You know, there's nothing at all. The only thing that I have is my cooker, but I take that with me. So at the end of the day, they come down, they ransack the shed, they go out and they go away with nothing. But just mindless. I don't understand why they do it, but it takes all sorts, doesn't it? And that's a quick one from me today. I'm going out later on this afternoon, so I've just come down to shoot this video. I'd like to thank all my new subscribers. I think I'm nearly at 400. I think I'm about 394. So it'd be great to get to 400 by the end of the weekend. But thanks for all those that follow. I hope you find these videos interesting, and you can take something away from it. Until next time, happy growing, and see you again soon.